Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs. Make your mark. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Tuesday, July 11th, 2017. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. For some people, life is all about destination, and for others, it's all about the journey. And I get the feeling that Candace Cunley is someone who falls into the latter category. Less than a week after earning her pro card by putting together a spectacular performance back at the NPC Team Universe, one of the newest members of the IFBB figure community sure hasn't wasted any time getting back to work. Recently, Cunley released a handful of new progress photos showing off a few of those assets that earned her a ticket to the biggest show in town. Even at this stage in her career, you can see that Cunley is one of those athletes who just has a ton of natural talent. And a few years from now, I think she has a chance to develop into someone who could be potentially a major factor in the IFBB. Speaking of major factors in the figure division, Heather Dees looks like she's gearing up to make some serious noise in her own right. Late last week, some new training footage was released that showed Dees cranking out a few sets of heavy deadlifts as she prepares to head into the next phase of her Olympia prep. Even though it feels like forever ago now, let's not forget it was only back in March when a lights-out Heather Dees came in and flatlined a very good lineup of athletes at the Hawaii Pro. And when you've got a former top 5 Olympian who's rested and now firing on all cylinders, it could spell a whole lot of trouble for a few people heading into Vegas with dreams of hearing their name in the first call-out. I don't know if the old shows are won and lost from the back thing still holds up in men's physique, but if I were everyone else in the lineup, I would be hoping and praying that it wasn't, because I don't know if there's anyone in the division who can hang with emerging superstar Jeremy Potvin right now. Recently, some new photos and video have begun to filter out of the Potvin camp that show last year's third-place Olympia finisher looking as dangerous as ever. Despite maybe missing his mark a little bit at the Arnold Classic, there shouldn't be any debate whatsoever about how good this guy can be when he's on and he's healthy. And now that he's had the better part of the last 4 months to get himself back in order, I'll be curious to see if he can climb the ladder and really push Jeremy Buendia for the title. Some people retire and then spend the next 2 weeks celebrating around the house in their bathrobe and slippers, doing a whole lot of nothing. And then I guess there are others who celebrate the retirement by smashing their legs into oblivion. Late last week, new training footage surfaced of a recently retired Tricky Jackson, who seems to be enjoying the early stages of his senior tour at the moment. Over the span of 20+ years, there weren't a whole lot of people you could say brought more excitement or entertainment value to the stage than Tricky Jackson did, time and time again. And when you consider the fact that he walked off into the sunset with a win in what was probably one of the best looks he ever brought to the stage, I don't think you could have scripted a more storybook ending for a guy who is truly one of the sport's real class acts. I'm a firm believer in the fact that friends shouldn't let friends skip leg day. So, apparently Cody Montgomery must be heeding my advice and keeping very good company these days. Recently, the CEO of Team Montgomery dropped a clip from one of his latest leg training sessions, where we see a pretty thick and nasty looking version of the former USA champ getting in some solid improvement season action. Throughout the entirety of his young career, Montgomery's always seemed to operate with a real sense of intelligence, and taking the entire year off to work his butt off and make improvements is really just further evidence to that effect. And I think whenever or wherever he ultimately ends up competing next, we're all going to see firsthand that all of this was probably well worth the wait.